He walks into my room super serious, and he walks in and he goes, "Hey." And I said, "What's up?" He goes, "Come here." I said, "What's going on?" He goes, No. Step outside." Now, I'll tell you what I thought was happening. What I thought was happening is I had thought he had hit that age that every man hits, where they look at their dad that first time and they think, "I won't beat the shit out of this dude." Right? Not everybody does it, but everybody looks at their dad at least once, like, "Oh, tell me to take out the trash again. Tell me to take out the trash again." So we're walking outside. I'm tightening up my shoelaces. I'm like, "Oh, it's fucking on. Okay, here we go." And I'm planning on just poking him in the neck once really hard to slow him down and shit, you know, because he's bigger than me. I need to slow him down. He's a big dude. And we get outside and he goes, "Touch the boob." And I say, "Yeah? What do you think?" He goes, "Well, I'm definitely gonna try to do that again." So, but now he did try to fight me. And I grew up with 3 older brothers. We all wrestled or fought my dad at least once growing up. Anybody in here wrestle or fight their dad? How old were you, man? How old? 12? Not a lot of muscle tone on a 12-year-old. 12, huh? How'd that go for you? Yeah. You know what you learn early on as a young man? Is that your dad takes it way more seriously than you do. You right? Because you're like, "I'm gonna mess with the old man." Huh? And he's like, you're like, "What the fuck?" Yeah, man. Listen, by the way, I asked some dude last week, I go, "How old were you when you fought your dad?" He goes, 30. I was like, holy shit. That's just beating up an old man at that point in time, right? But you know what he said? He goes, "Yeah, well, it's the first time I thought I had a shot, so..." And I'm not mad at him. You go in where you think you got your shot, you know? But I remember when my oldest brother, the first time he decided he was gonna fight my dad, right? So me and my other 2 brothers are in my room. We're all under the age of 10. I'm probably like 6. My oldest brother's probably like 16. And he walks into the room super serious, right? He walks in, he's like, "I'm fighting Dad today." And I'm 6. I'm like, "You fighting Dad?" "That's right, I'm fighting Dad. You guys got my back?" And we were all like, "Fuck yeah, we got your back! We got your back! You guys ready for some new rules?" I'm like, "Yeah, I want some new rules!" He goes, "What do you want?" I'm like, "I want to eat cereal for dinner." He's like, "You got it." And I'm like, "Fuck that guy, yeah!" Oh, he was riling us up. I thought there was gonna be a regime change, everybody. I needed to be on the right side of that shit, you know? He had us riled up. I was grabbing pictures of my dad off the wall, like, we're downstairs following him. He's like, "You guys ready?" Like, "Yeah, we're ready." "You guys got my back?" "We got your back." We get outside. My dad's in the patio, and he's smoking a cigar, just sitting down. My brother walks out, and he goes, "We're fighting today, old man." My dad stands up, and he goes, "Okay." Now, hindsight being what it is, my dad's confidence should have been a bit of a red flag for my brother. Dude didn't even take the cigar out of his fucking mouth. He knew he wasn't getting hit, you know what I mean? Like, if you go to a fight and one of the guys has a cigar in his mouth, that's the fucking winner. That guy is like, "I am confident as shit." So my brother goes, "And let me tell you something." And before he could get another word out of his fucking mouth, my dad kicked him in the nuts so hard. And he fell on the ground, right? And my dad walks up to him and goes, "You know you shouldn't talk when you fight, right?" And walked in the house like a fucking gangster. And we all walked past him like, "Yeah, you shouldn't talk when you fight. Ding, ding, ding." Well, I'm not hanging outside with a loser. I'm going inside with the winner. Like, I'm not stupid, you know? But he did try to fight me. So I'm walking into the kitchen. He's walking out. And he leans his shoulder into me. And I go, "Did you just lean your shoulder into me?" And he goes, "Maybe you should watch where you're going." And I started to laugh. I go, I'm sorry. Are you starting to fight with me? And he goes, yeah, not that it's gonna be much of a fight. And I was like, all right, man, front lawn right now, let's go. And he goes, no, not now, like 3 weeks. I'm like, 3? Who are you, fucking Rocky? What do you mean 3 weeks? You gotta go turn some tires over and shit? Like what? He goes, I gotta go look up some videos online. I'm like, oh, okay. Now listen, outwardly, when he said 3 weeks, I was mocking him. But on the inside, when he said 3 weeks, I was like, phew. Because I'm at an age where I pull muscles. And I pull muscles doing shit that I shouldn't pull a muscle doing. Like, not too long ago, I pulled a muscle in my right shoulder. Wiping my ass. I went back too quick and I didn't tuck my core. It's all core nowadays, I don't fucking know. But I went back too quick and all my wife heard when she walked by the door was, oh no! Listen, guys, if I get a stretch before I shit, you can kill me tonight. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you walk into the bathroom later and I'm like this, and you're like, what are you doing, man? I'm getting ready to poop. Like, you can, I don't need to come out of the bathroom. You can kill me in there. Now, here's the deal. By the way, you couldn't do what my dad did now. This is definitely something that you could not get away with now. We have raised a different generation of kids. You guys know that, right? We have raised a generation of spoiled, entitled pussies. You understand that, right? Now, we can clap all you want, but you know whose fault it is? Yeah, they didn't raise themselves, guys. It's our fault. And we've coddled them to the point that it's ridiculous. Do you know that in a lot of states in our great country, they've outlawed dodgeball? Do you know why? Because they say it humiliates the children. Round of applause. By the way, that's ironically why we played the fucking game to begin with. Right? I was like, who are we making cry today, right? Round of applause, people who remember playing dodgeball. Round of applause. Right. And if I said after the show, we're gonna clear out the tables and play some dodgeball, who would play some dodgeball? Yeah! Because we all have that shared experience, right? Everybody in here remembers what that red rubber tastes like on your lips, right? And your eyes are watering, your nose starts to run, you try to get off the court, 9 other balls hit you, and you're like, I'm out already, shit, fuck, I am out! They'll never have that experience, will they? So I call my dad on the phone, because I know my son wants to fight me. I call him on the phone, I'm like, hey man, we all fought you, right? He goes, yeah. And I said, I seem to remember you being a little more violent than you needed to be. And he said, no, yeah, you remember correctly. And I said, why? Why? And he goes, listen, man, he wants to win, right? I said, yeah. He said, you have to win. You have to win. Because if you don't win, the power changes at your house. And then you try telling him to take out the trash tomorrow. He's gonna slap you in the face and be like, you take the trash out, bitch. Don't make me fuck you up again. And I was like, oh my God. He said, this is how... And then he said something, by the way, that I will never forget. I go, I have to win? He said, Josh, even if somebody ends up calling the police, you have to win. And I was like, oh, shit. Now listen, I'm not a violent dude. My dad was more adept at that. And now I did have 3 older brothers, so I am really good at mental torture. So I was like, that's kind of where I'll lean on. So I hang up the phone and I turn around and my wife is there. And she looks right at me. She goes, are you fighting Jacob? And I said, no. I'm not gonna fight him. It's gonna be something, we're gonna do something in the front lawn, but it's not gonna be like a fight. And she said, why don't you just tell him that you're the grown-up and he's the kid, and that's it. He does what you say. And I'm like, nah. I said, that's not gonna work. And she said, why? I said, I'm not sure if you were there, but he basically slapped me in the face with his dick in the kitchen. Like, there's only one response. She goes, I don't like it. I said, I'm not saying it's the right response. I'm just saying it's the only one that I know, you know? And she said, I don't think this is a good idea. And then I maybe got a little too cocky. And I said, I'll let you know when I have a bad idea. And she was like, oh, okay. You're gonna let me know? And I said, yeah. And she goes, oh, okay. So I know I gotta start torturing my son, right? I call my brother on the phone because I'm like, you guys tortured me endlessly. What should I do? And he said, what do you mean? All you talked about growing up was, I wish I had a little brother so I could do to him what you guys did to me. He goes, now is your chance. Nobody gets to go back and do that. And I was like, you know, you're right. This is quite an opportunity. And he said, yeah, man. Do you want me to send you over the list? And I go, what list? He goes, oh, the list of things that we had that we used to do to you. And I said, why do you still have the list? And he was like, you never know, do you? And I said, no. So he sends the list over, right? And I'm looking at it, and he said, just remember, the most important thing is to start small and go up from there. So this all started on a Sunday. Now listen, he wants 3 weeks. I don't want to give him a full 3 weeks. I want to get him so mad, my son, that he wants to fight at the end of the week. I need to get him so mad because that's the only chance I have of beating him, right? So my brother's like, start slow. I go, okay. So Sunday night when my son is sleeping, I took all of his underwear out of his drawer. And I replaced it with panties with the days of the week on it. So when he woke up the next morning, I'm cooking breakfast, and I hear, from the other room, I hear, what? What is this? Hey, these aren't my underwear! These aren't my underwear! And I just yelled back, hey, just put your Mondays on, sunshine, and come on out for some breakfast. And he was like, I'm gonna fight you so hard! And I was like, don't say that, don't say that, don't say that. I hope you're not fighting me hard. I don't feel too bad what I'm doing to him. We're at day 3, checking in back in the fight, and I've started to up my battle a little bit, and I started to do something my brothers did to me that I hated. I put Vaseline in basically every pocket that he had. Jacket pocket, pant pocket, anything. Oh, that will drive you slowly crazy, right? And I could hear him go, oh, I'm gonna fight you so hard! And then it was funny, because my wife calls me into the bedroom. And she goes, you come in here? I go, sure. And I look on the mirror, and written in Vaseline on the mirror, I can't wait to fight you. And she goes, you happy with yourself? And I go, yeah, actually, I'm pretty happy. I go, he just wrote a death wish with Vaseline. He's ready to snap. Like I'm not gonna have to wait 12 days. He's ready to go right now, right? And by the way, I don't want anyone feeling bad for them about things that I do to them. They get me just as much. Do you understand that? Like, that's part of the thing in our family. Like, funny is funny. Funny wins. And I scare really easily. And my daughter scared me because I also smoke a lot of weed. And, thank you. And so my daughter scared me one time. She hid in the front yard. So they know that I come home high every now and then. And she was waiting in the front yard in a long, white, flowy gown and a scream mask. I walked into the yard and she was like, ah! And I jazz hand when I get scared. Ah! I make a loud, ah! And I jazz hand. There's like 1 million videos they have of me going like this. Ah! 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 So fuck them, they get everything, they get everything. But I knew my son was getting ready to lose his mind, right? So I started to step up my game. And I did something to him that my brothers did to me that used to drive me crazy. They used to put Tabasco sauce on my fingertips when I was sleeping. Well, because the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning is what? You go pee. Anybody who's ever touched a jalapeno and then gone to the bathroom? Yeah, that's not fun, you know? So I put Tabasco sauce on his fingertips and I just wait. I wait 5 in the morning, I get up, I sit in the living room, and I hear him go to the bathroom, and then he walks into the living room like this. And he goes, hey. I said, hey, and he goes, what does it mean
What does it mean if your penis is on fire?
So, well, it could mean a lot of things.
Oh yeah, like what?
I said, well, you could have a virus.
So what do you do then if you have a virus? What do you do?
I'm like, well, they take a needle. You stick it in the base of your penis.
What, a penis shot? I don't want one of those. What else? What is there any other option?
I go, well, yeah. I said, well, you could have like a bacterial infection.
Oh, okay. What is that? What does that mean? I go, how do they fix that?
I go, well, they take a needle. And they stick it in the base of your...
Oh, another penis shot? Well, I don't want it. Well, is there any option besides penis shot?
I go, well, there's a third one, but it's so rare, like, it never happens.
He's like, what is it? I'm like,
it just doesn't happen.
he goes, what is it? Is it a penis shot? I go, no. He goes, tell me what it is.
I go, okay. I go, it's possible, but it never happens, but it's possible. That somebody snuck into your room and put Tabasco sauce on your fingertips when you were sleeping.
And he was like, I'm gonna fight you so hard!
I'm like, don't say that, don't say that. So I'm like, listen, right now we're at the house. We're at day 5, and he's ready to snap. After the Vaseline, I know he's ready to snap. So I do the thing to him that my brothers did to me that made me snap the quickest. They used to lock me in my bathroom. Oh yeah, for hours. Now, I wasn't gonna lock him in for hours, just like an hour and a half, something like that. And so when he's in the bathroom, I take some rope and I tie it to the handle and I tie the other part of the rope to the door handle. And I just sit and I wait. And I hear the toilet flush. And then I just hear the door handle. And I get a text.
I'm locked in the bathroom.
So I sent him a text back. I know. And then it was just like in a horror movie, all from the inside of the bathroom, all I heard is,
are you out there?
And I said, you know I am. He goes, you let me out of here right now or I'll break the door down. And I pick up my phone, I'm like, break it down. Has anyone in here ever seen someone try to break down a door? Some funny shit. The first time I saw it, I was in college, and my buddy was like, I'm beating the shit out of this guy. And I go, let's go. And he goes to his house, and the door was locked. And he was like, I'm breaking in. I go, break in. And my buddy went, and his lip went, because it's a fucking door, everybody. That's why they put it up there, so you can't walk in and out all willy-nilly. If you think you can break down a door, you watch too much Law and Order. That's all I'm saying. The door. So he goes, I'm gonna break it down. And the reason I have my camera up, guys, is because I'm gonna film it, because I already have, my wife and I have a video that's 7.5 minutes long of dumb shit that he's done that we're gonna play at his wedding. So I'm like, this is gonna be a perfect video. Now guys, I have on that video 90 seconds of the best thing you've ever seen in your life. Funnier than anything you've ever seen on YouTube, funnier than anything you've ever seen in a movie, TV show, anything. My son, such an excitable, just loving life person. Even as a young boy, he rushed through shit. So I have 90 seconds of a video because we were playing in the living room and he went to the bathroom, and when he ran out, he was not careful in the bathroom and he had a little bit of shit on his earlobe. I have a 90-second video of him doing this. Hey, you want to play? What is that? You guys saw 5 seconds of it. I have 85 more seconds of that. It's the best thing I've ever seen in my life. Whenever I'm in a bad mood, I'm like, throw in the tape! Like, that is the best thing I've ever seen. So I have it up like this, right? And I'm ready, because I know what's gonna happen. He goes, I'm breaking it down. I go, do it. And he goes, 1, 2, 3. And all I hear is, silence. It's quiet for like 2-3 minutes. And then he goes, I'm pretty sure this is child abuse. And I said, yeah, which part? He goes, I think all of it. Silence for like another 3 minutes. Then he said something that made me laugh so hard I had to leave the room. I just hear from the bathroom, I'm hungry. So I come back in the room, and this is when I knew he started to crack. He goes, Dad, listen. If you crack the door and slip in a sandwich, I promise not to try to get out. I'm like, oh, fucking Stockholm Syndrome is setting in with this dude. Negotiating with his captors and stuff, you know? I go, I can't do that, man. He was like, oh! And this is when I knew he was ready to fight. I just heard him starting to mumble to himself. Oh. And then he said this. He goes, no, when I get out of here, I'm just gonna shake him. And I was like, fuck. I've never been so mad where I'm like, I'm just gonna shake the shit out of him. Right? I was like, oh, he's ready to fight. I go, you ready to come out, man? And he goes, yeah, I'm ready. And I go, okay. And I open the door. Have you ever seen a bull come out of a chute at a rodeo where all their muscles are moving at once? And he's coming out, he's like, I'm gonna fight you so hard. And I go, you ready? He goes, I'm ready. I go, let's go. He goes, not yet. I gotta change into my fight clothes. I'm like, what's that? So I go out in the hallway and I see my wife, Beth, and she's like, listen, you sure you still want to fight him? I go, he was just talking about shaking somebody, so he's gonna fight somebody today, so might as well be me. And she said, nothing good is gonna come out of this. Nothing good. Even if you win, nothing good comes out of this. She said, I really think it's a bad idea. And I said, what did I tell you about that? I'll let you know when I have a bad idea. And she was like, okay. And I go, just do me a favor. Just put my phone in the window, because when I pin him, that's gonna be the end of the wedding video. Like, that's a good way to go out. Wedding video over, me pinning him, right? And she goes, okay. So I walk outside. And when I walk outside, guys, I'm pretty happy with myself for a couple of reasons. One, I didn't have to get as violent as my dad did to get him this mad, right? And two, look, whatever you all think about it, nobody in here remembers the stories about when you were a kid, how many times your mom cut the crust off your sandwich. You don't remember the nice stuff. You were like, you remember when fucking Tommy fell off the roof? Do you know what I mean? Those are the stories you tell, and I know this is a story he's gonna tell. This is a memory we're gonna share, and I like that shit. And when he looks back, he's gonna think, man, that was funny as shit, right? And I'm happy. And then he comes busting out of the house. By the way, you wanna know what his fight clothes were? Jean shorts, no shirt, and a bandana. I was like, where are you going, Coachella? Like, what the fuck? And he comes running at me. He throws a punch. I duck it. I throw him over my hip, and bam, he lands on his back. You guys know that noise? With all the air just, and I'm like, oh, I got a couple minutes. The wind has been knocked out of him. And the first time the wind gets knocked out of you, you think you're dying, right? So I'm like, oh, I got at least 15 minutes to fuck with this guy. 15 seconds or so, right? So I'm like, I'm always, guys, I was a huge wrestling fan. Huge Randy the Macho Man Savage fan. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna Randy the Macho Man Savage. So I start to walk around and I'm like, oh yeah, the Macho Man. I'm looking in the window at the camera like, and then I got a couple more seconds. I'm gonna come off the top rope and I'm gonna jump on him, pull his leg up, pin him, end of the wedding video. Perfect, right? So I go, what you gonna do when the Macho Man lands on you? It was a spur of the moment. That's all I had. And I go to push, and when I push, his leg slipped. And when this leg slipped, a disc popped in my back. Boom, and I landed right on him. And I knocked the wind out of him again. And he's like, get off of me, get off of me. And I was like, get out from under me, get out from under me. And we're both laying there like a couple of wet mops in the front yard, right? 30 seconds later, he gets out from under me, walks inside, and I'm laying in the front. And just laying there, probably for like 10 minutes. And then the front door opens, and I see 2 feet walking out to me, and I recognize those feet. Those are my wife's. She walks out, and she leans over me just like this, and she goes, How do you think that went? I said, I think it went pretty well. And she said, did it? I said, I won. She goes, did you? She said, all I know is that he's inside drinking water and you're still laying out here with your face in the dirt. He looks like the winner. I go, yeah, but we're gonna cut the video off way before that. Nobody's ever gonna see that shit. And I said, babe, and I knew why she came out. She came out to tell me that she was right and I was wrong, and she was. And I told her right off the front. I said, look, I know that you were right and I was wrong, and I'm so sorry, and I am the adult, and he is the child. And I really just need to keep that in mind. Like, this is how you parent. And we parent together, and I'm sorry we didn't do this together, and I should have listened to you, but thank you very much for coming out to help me in. And she said, I didn't come out here to help you in. She said, I came out here to tell you that the camera is still running in the window, and I think I'm gonna start a little video of my own. Because the sprinklers are set to come on in 3 minutes. And as she's walking away, I go, babe, I don't think that's a good idea. And she turns to me and she goes, I'll let you know when I have a bad idea.